Good evening and welcome to ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Shrikant coming to you live from the studio here in Bengaluru, and we kick it off then with our top story, which is about the contentious e-commerce policy and what the government plans to do about it. Now, the Swadeshi Jagran Manch, which has been pushing for more constraints or more more constraints against the foreign players, held a round table with the DIPP secretary yesterday to apprise him of the latest as far as FDI in e-commerce is concerned. They have also raised concerns as far as violation of Press Note 3 is concerned. Their contention has been that despite all the norms set out in Press Note 3, e-tailers have constantly violated these norms and managed to channel foreign investment, and that they are also selling directly to consumers. The DIPP Secretary Ramesh Abhishek has really offered a slew of promises. He's assured them that complaints related to Press Note 3 have been discussed with the Finance Secretary. He's also acknowledged that the department has received a lot of complaints as far as the draft e-commerce policy is concerned, and this has been sent to the concerned authorities. He's also ruled out any FDI as far as the inventory-based e-commerce model is concerned. There were rumors that 49% FDI is going to be allowed in that, as long as these are locally made goods, but he has now come out and said that allowing 49% FDI in inventory-based e-commerce is as good as allowing 49% in retail. So it hasn't been discussed and it's not on the table. We will of course be discussing the ramifications of what all this means with a special guest. We're trying to get Ashwini Mahajan from the Swadeshi Jagran Manch. He's the person who's really been leading the discussions. He's been leading the charge. Okay, we are still waiting for Ashwini Mahajan to join us. But while he joins us, let's move on to the second story. And this is really about the upcoming festive season sale, come Dashera, come Diwali. That's when the competition really heats up between the e-commerce players. And this time too, it's not going to be any different on the face of it. Remember, Amazon, Paytm Mall, as well as Flipkart have raised recent rounds of money. They are extremely well capitalized at this point. So I guess deep discounts are here to stay. For more on what the festive season is expected, how these people are going to spend, let me go across to my colleague Rahul Daima, who joins in with more details. Rahul.
We've always seen Amazon and Flipkart also come out with data year on year that really talks about how the Indian e-commerce market really grows from what it was the previous year. So this time what's really different is the fact that both Amazon and Flipkart are firming up plans to really double up their preparations. They've already placed orders. Reports are suggesting they've placed double the number of orders for mobile phones, appliances, smartphones. Remember, electronics is really the big driver of interest among consumers. So you'll have a minimum of 50% discount on appliances. Mobile phones is where all the big deals really are. So that's something also that we will see these firms really betting big on. Also, like always, Diwali season, the sales are really spread out across for over 2 months. So we could see the Diwali season really kick off in the second week of October and really span all the way to Christmas and New Year. But remember, for e-commerce players also, it's really the Diwali season that's the biggest driver of growth in terms of GMV. In fact, data that we have from Redseer analysis really indicates that for over 5 days, the GMV, if you were to look at the last year, 2017, it was about 1.5 billion. But for 2018, we're talking about a GMV of over 3 billion. So double than what we've really seen over the last year. That's the sort of the growth that we are eyeing. And consumers are really going to be the big winner because the discounts will be double, and that's what we're anticipating. Delivery staff also, they're firming up about 5 lakh temporary delivery staff will be hired by e-tailers. Flipkart alone is hiring 70,000. So Chandra, big plans, and the winner is going to be consumers like you and me. But clearly, this will be the biggest Diwali season, considering, as you mentioned, both of them are well capitalized. Flipkart also wants to really prove the might that Walmart brings to the table.
Rahul, in fact, we now have two special guests, Ashwini Mahajan from Swadeshi Jagran Manch, who, remember, we wanted to get on board to discuss the roundtable with the DIPP secretary yesterday. But we also have Ujjwal Chaudhary from Red Seer, who will take us through the discount wars that is expected this festive season. But Mr. Mahajan, I'm going to come to you first. You had a roundtable with the DIPP secretary to really flag concerns as far as the e-commerce policy is concerned, violations in Press Note 3 are concerned. Take us through what we can expect from the government on this front, because separately the CAIT, the traders body, has also filed a case at the NCLT against the Flipkart Walmart deal. So what exactly can we expect on the policy front as far as e-commerce is concerned?
As far as the policy is concerned, it's very clear. Press Note clearly says that there can't be any discounts which are price distorting. They can't hold inventories, and they can't have any selling more than 25% of the total sale. So the policy is very clear. The issue is the violation of the policy. The issue is circumvention of the law of the land. And these companies had been circumventing the law because they were not filing returns, and that was easy for them to really circumvent the law. And the government was keeping silent on it. There were several complaints against these companies, but the government was not taking any action. After the Flipkart Walmart deal, the action started. We complained against the violation of the law, circumvention of the law, and Commerce Ministry wrote to various departments, including Enforcement Directorate, RBI, Income Tax Department, CCI, everybody. So now the issue is that these companies have been taking law into their hands, and now these violations, they really have to stop, and action has to be taken against these companies for the violation. Otherwise, there is no point making laws. There is no point making policies. This is my view.
Right. Right. So what next, Mr. Mahajan? As far as the e-commerce policy is concerned, various people are unhappy. I think even within the ministries, there have been conflicting views, and now, this has gone to the Commerce Ministry for review. In fact, we spoke to Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant last week, and he was of the view that the government must not get into micro issues such as pricing and discounts. So where do things stand as far as the draft e-commerce policy is concerned? When can we expect a comprehensive e-commerce policy?
My advice to Mr. Amitabh Kant ji is that he should not get involved in these issues where the circumvention of the law is happening. Otherwise, people will have this view that Niti Aayog is with the violators of the law, and therefore he is holding he is such a position that he should not speak like this. But this is not a micro issue. This is a macro issue. This is an important issue in the sense that when you are giving discounts, when you are burning cash, when you are selling the commodities at lower than the cost, and the small shopkeepers, the small booksellers, and e-commerce startups, they would die before taking birth. So this is my advice to the Amitabh Kant ji, that he should not talk like this, because otherwise people will think that Niti Aayog is for the violation of the law. Why we are making laws? Law is already in place. This is in place since the beginning. Press Note 3 has made it very clear that these discounts cannot be allowed. And now, when the draft e-commerce policy is in place, Now draft e-commerce policy has come out, and there is a general consensus in the. I'm not talking about the ministries. Ministries have to be educated about it, and there is a general consensus in the country that the data is very important. Data is actually the oil of the digital economy. Data is such an important thing, and therefore, if the draft e-commerce policy is talking about the localization of data, keeping the data in India, and which could be made available to one and all, to all the stakeholders, to all the small e-commerce startups, to all the players. So nobody has the monopoly over the data. So this is the point where some people are saying that there is some confusion in the ministries, but ministries have to be told, they have to be educated that this is an important thing for the development of the economy on a level playing field. So I don't think that there will be any problem in finalizing
Mr. Mahajan.
the e-commerce policy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, sir, we're running out of time, but thank you so much for joining us. And that's a very powerful view coming from you, saying Amitabh Kant should not get into issues like this, because it would appear that Niti Aayog is supporting cases where there are violations. I'm not sure what he makes of that. But moving on to our other guest, who's also been patiently standing by, Ujjwal from Reds here, who's talking to us about the deep discounts from e-commerce players who Mr. Ashwini Mahajan was just criticizing. Ujjwal, thanks for joining us on Startup Central. You would have thought that for the last few years have been about discounts, it's going to come down, but it looks like it's going to be yet another season of deep discounting because all these players are flushed with funds at this point. There is, of course, Paytm Mall in the mix. People are talking about Reliance. How's the festive sale going to pan out according to you?
Hi, thank you for having me on the show. So we are projecting a blockbuster festive season this time around. So what we had seen last year was close to $1.5 billion of sales during the festive season. So when we say festive season, we are talking about the 5 days of sale. So this time around, we are expecting $2.5 to $3 billion of sales of GMV sales during the festive season. This is going to come on the back of growth of the users as well. So what we saw last year was closer to 14 million users. This year we are projecting closer to 20 million users. So definitely blockbuster season. And what we expect is that the discounting is going to stay because festive season is done on the back of discounting. And in general, if you look at e-commerce in India, 35% of the sale 35% of the GMV comes during the sale events. So discounting is definitely an important part of the sale which happens in e-tailing. So definitely we look forward to deep discounts this time around as well.
Right. Ujjwal, just a final question. In fact, it's a two-part question. The first is that a Google Omidyar study recently seemed to suggest that for every 50 million shoppers who come online, 50 million shoppers opt out. So I think the uninstall rate or people opting out is very high, which means the cost of customer acquisition continues to be high for companies. The second part is Flipkart has usually had an edge when it comes to the festive season. They've almost sort of fashioned this into a process. Will that continue to be the case, considering they're still digesting that mega acquisition by Walmart? Management has perhaps been busy with integration. Do you still continue to see Flipkart retaining that edge this festive season as well?
Sure. So I'll come to the first part, as you said, that about the cost of customer acquisition. So according to our analysis, India has close to 110 million annualized online shoppers, and that number still continues to grow. And what we are seeing is an increased trust in the large e-tailing platforms. So what we believe is that more and more people are going to now come online because they are having increased trust in these horizontal platforms. So as far as the uninstall rate is concerned, what we have seen is that overall the cost of acquisition has come down compared to what it was, let's say, 2 to 3 years ago. So I don't think that remains a very large area of concern for the horizontals, because they have been able to get a very good lifetime value out of those customers, especially selling them high ASP, high selling price items. So we don't think that the cost of acquisition is a large area of concern. On the second part, so we see that the competition is definitely going to be fierce this time around as well. According to our understanding, when we analyzed the Big Billion Day or the festive season overall last time, what we have seen is that the marketing just before the sales period is fairly important, because the player that has the largest mind share just before the event tends to have a larger share of the pie. So we are going to have to see what kind of marketing strategies are employed. So, for example, what we are already seeing is, Flipkart launching the subscription, the Flipkart First subscription. Flipkart doing ads on the debit card EMIs, which is an important lever in the affordability metric. So all of those factors combined, we will definitely see both the players doing a lot more marketing nearer to the sale. And based on how it pans out, based on, what the customer most associates themselves with, that is definitely going to be the big differentiator in who wins the contest.
Right. On that note, Ujjwal, thanks so much for joining us. We will, of course, be talking to you more often in the coming weeks as that festive season gets closer. But clearly, Amazon, Flipkart, everyone already forming up plans on how to battle it out as far as the festive season is concerned. On that note, time for a short break, but come back because there's more on Startup Central, including a conversation with InstaMojo founder and CEO Sampath Swain on a slew of new offerings from their platform. Welcome back to ET Now Startup Central. Now, fintech startup InstaMojo has widened its product portfolio beyond payments to launch offerings in the logistics and lending space in an effort to become a full stack platform for MSMEs. I caught up with its co-founder and CEO Sampath Swain to really understand how this will help them, how this will help them target more MSMEs in the coming months. Listen in.
I think it goes down about a year back. We did a market research, right, talking to our user base, and one of the prevalent problems that most of these guys face is it's really frustrating when you think about scaling your business, because you have to learn newer things and newer techniques, right, which is very difficult in the digital world. One of the biggest issues that we realize when it comes to capital, right, is they realize that digital money is not fungible. Digital money is not instantly available for them. It takes about a couple of days to kind of come to a bank account. We thought about solving that problem because we, for one, believe that if we can make digital money instantly available, which you can use to expand your business, I think the next league of small business will come digital, come online, right? And that is why we launched our first product under Mojo Capital called Sachet Loan, which allows anybody to basically instantly get the payout in their bank account, literally in real time. So we're using IMPS for that to disburse instant credit in their bank account.
What sort of regulatory approvals will this, entail? The fact that you are now on the lending side and not just on the digitization.
Well, we continue to work with multiple NBFCs and banks. Like Yes Bank is one of our partner in this initiative, help us to build up the entire stack here. We are working with multiple NBFCs to expand their loan book while giving credit. We are just an interface to overlay between a merchant and the NBFC, right? And since you already do transaction, the sale proceeds will be on the platform itself. where the interest will be disbursed within platform to the merchant.
And in terms of recovery and all that, how is that?
So everything will happen on InstaMojo platform itself, right? Like say NBFC provides the loans via InstaMojo to the merchant directly. Merchant pays back the interest and the principal that they're accruing over a period of time back to the NBFC via InstaMojo platform itself. And we're just a conduit connecting both of them in a very simple, hassle-free way.
Right. You've explained the rationale. Okay, that was InstaMojo there on their new offerings. But on that note, completely out of time on this edition of ET Now Startup Central. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned to the channel for more news and updates.